Today, I would like to welcome our guest who had a powerful near-death experience, recalls leaving his body, entering higher realms. Life review, visions of the past and future. Welcome to The Returned.
You die and your soul leaves your body, goes back home to heaven. No, that's not the way it is. You're always there.
Hi there, I'm MJ and welcome to The Returned. Today I am sharing a space with Rachel Hope, a spiritual healer. Life was forever changed after a soul calling to Machu Picchu in 2012. Through powerful plant medicine ceremonies, she experienced a divine awakening. Rachel's journey buried her childhood trauma and began the deep work of inner child healing. Now she helps others to reclaim their power through emotional and energetic healing. This is a story about pain, purpose, and profound transformation. Welcome, Rachel, to The Return.
Thank you, MJ. Thank you for having me on.
You're so welcome. Could you tell us, before your awakening in 2012, who was Rachel Hope? What was your life like before that profound shift, and were you spiritual or religious?
Okay, that's a great question, and beginning to become spiritual. But I had been raised Mormon, Latter-day Saints, but I never liked it. And I always tuned it out. I sort of resented my mom for making me go to church. And then around college, I went to UC Berkeley. I just decided to reject the whole thing. But the fear programming and the guilt that the Mormon church had put into me made me reject the whole notion of even God in general. I just kind of went through my life for a few years. Pretty traditional. I was health oriented, but I didn't really seek out any sort of deeper meaning in life until I had a really experience around 25. I met a con man who pretended to be my boyfriend, and I had done well in real estate at that time, and I was about to buy a house in the San Francisco Bay Area, but I ended up losing more than $100,000, $1,000, $10,000 at a time, which I later understood because of all the rough abuse I went through that had been blocked out. I didn't have a sense of boundaries. I couldn't say no. You don't say no to men, things like that. So that was a real low point, and that brought me to start looking for, is there a reason for this? Why is this happening? And because I was open to that now, I did start to meet some people that gave me some ideas. And I remember meeting a woman at the New Living Expo in San Francisco saying, oh, God is like your best friend. It's like the best mother, father, best friend you've ever had, and unconditionally loves you. And that was a brand new concept because the Mormon church does not teach that, right? It's a judgmental God. And so I started being open, and then a friend of mine introduced me to the guru Yogananda, who wrote that famous book, Autobiography of a Yogi, and I totally recommend this book. And it really got me on a spiritual path for the first time in my life. And I was ready for it, and I was looking for it because I felt this sort of deep hole in my heart as I through my traditional, normal real estate job life of like, why am I here? What am I supposed to be doing? I feel like there's more to life. And I really wanted to know, who is God? What's my relation to God? And why am I here? What are the secrets of the cosmos? This is what I really wanted to know. So I started a meditation practice, and I never thought the universe or God would ever communicate back. I never thought. I thought I'd meditate my whole life and probably never hear anything back. And then I saw Machu Picchu in a National Geographic magazine, what it was or where it was, but something in me was like, I've got to go there. And I had never traveled internationally alone. I think I've been to Mexico with my family once. And as I was researching the trip, I remembered, couldn't even remember what the name of that plant medicine was. I didn't know anybody who had done it. It's just that a dear, now I know of him as a soul brother, had told me about this plant medicine. And so I made a deal with myself that if I found a shaman before I went there that felt safe, that felt good, that I would do that. And I found him in 2 days. And I set it up with his girlfriend, who was his assistant, and went to Peru. And I had 2 private ceremonies, one ayahuasca and one San Pedro. And the highlight of the ayahuasca ceremony, well, 2 things that I really want to share. And remember, my intention was, who was God? I want to know my relationship to God. Is I saw this column of light, and I just had this knowingness that this was God. And I could control the vision. I haven't had that in other ceremonies, but in this one, I could look at anything I want, zoom in and out. And so I said, okay, I want to look at God's face, but I thought, oh, it's too far away. This is too big of a column. I can't. But I made myself, and I zoomed all the way up. And at the top was a mirror. I thought, wow, well played, God, well played, universe, And then another amazing thing that happened in that ceremony was I threw up black cork, but I had fasted. Was that was darkness from it, and that darkness was keeping me cut off from my spiritual gifts. Because as soon as I got back home to the San Francisco Bay Area, I started noticing on a daily basis the universe communicating with me, like extremely meaningful synchronicities. I would have maybe one or two of those a year, so I had those kind of experiences. But now I was expecting it every day, and it was happening every day, and it was happening rapidly. And so I was getting a lot of information about being a really old soul. I was here to do healing work, but I didn't know anything about healing work. I'd gone to some transformational workshops like Landmark Forum, but I thought mostly healing happened with time. I didn't know it was so proactive. And then the universe choreographed for me to meet a bunch of people in the healing arts, because my life at that time was pretty mainstream. It was real estate stuff and rock climbing. So I didn't really have sort of spiritual, metaphysical friends, even though I was curious and interested in those. And so then I started participating in healing-oriented events. I started co-hosting them. I started meeting a lot of people, a lot of wild, wacky, metaphysical, spiritual, alien light workers. It just blew my world like totally open, right? And things were really, really magical. And then I went back to Peru, this time for more heavy-duty 7 ceremonies on a year later, because I had so many questions. I was starting to get all these notes about who I was and what I was doing here, and I wanted more. And then about a month after I got back from that second trip to Peru, I started remembering really rough, repressed childhood abuse. Really, really rough stuff. And now I understood why everyone in my family was struggling so much. He ended up dying a few years later. My older brother ended up committing suicide. I have another brother. I love you dearly, Mike, if you hear this. And it's really hard to talk with him. Right? It's really hard to even get him to text me back. We don't talk about anything emotional. We talk once a year, twice a year. The trauma was intense, and I don't really want to go into the nature of it, but I will just say it was very dark, very programmed. Purpose, them are haphazard, and it's something that goes in my father's family line for a long time, and that's why I go by Rachel Hope. My true last name is Fowler. Hope is my middle name, so I just kind of dropped that namesake, because I wanted to step into my new life as Rachel Hope, where I follow my heart, I follow spirit, I follow intuition, that I have a purpose and a guidance. And then my mother died a couple months after that, and my world was really, really shattered, because I had to also kind of unravel, like, okay, my mom knew what was going on, but she couldn't protect me. She was a victim herself. And so I was really overwhelmed with grief, and I didn't be here anymore. Life had been magical for a year, but now I was like, I just want to go home, wherever home is. I don't want to do anymore. And so I stopped working in real estate, and I just sought out healing-oriented workshops, certifications. I did a bunch of healing trainings. I did a 1-year counseling, coaching program. I knew I needed to heal myself. I knew that I was not in a good place, and that eventually I trusted that whatever helped me to heal was what I was going to bring to my clients. And it is what ended up happening. And for me, inner child healing was the real game changer, which helps with programming and the way you feel about yourself, boundaries, expression, all of that. And I can go into more stories about that. But it wasn't as powerful, I noticed, for clearing a lot of old pain. Some pain would come up, but there was also this other element of healing, the subconscious programming, but then also clearing trapped pain in the body. So I was on the hunt for an emotional healing modality for about a year. And I found the emotion code. Dr. Bradley Nelson created it. My body lit up with goosebumps. Interviewed on E-Motion, a fabulous documentary. I totally recommend it. I said, okay, universe, I think this is it, but I want to see real results, because I'd studied a lot of healing modalities at that point and often felt like the results weren't very tangible. And so I got the book and I started learning how to do it. And with the very first emotion I released, it was terror. I didn't even feel it. I didn't know if I'd done it correctly, but you're supposed to lay down after, kind of rest as this energy is now integrating and leaving the body. But I went on a hike. I didn't do that. I didn't know you're supposed to do that. And I felt it. Not full terror, but I felt afraid 30 minutes later. And I checked in with myself and realized, oh, like that's the terror. Like this actually works. And so this is what I bring today to people, is inner child healing. Just really for truly finally loving yourself, feeling good enough. Most people in some way struggle with that, because we have these imperfect flawed childhoods, and our subconscious is open at that time, and clearing trapped emotions that contribute to our physical suffering, emotional suffering. I feel like it's a very comprehensive duo. So that kind of brings us up to today of what I'm offering. And I tend to do it through a spiritual lens, that we're here as souls. We pick our families, we pick our challenges. On some fundamental level, we're all one. So whatever we do with our own healing contributes that to the collective.
Very interesting. The ayahuasca ceremonies. What did they exactly do? And I should say, did it unfold the way that you expected it to? And did you have any fear around the ceremony part? You do like a cleanse and then you stay for a few days, right?
Yeah, you do a dieta, a diet, to prepare your body for the medicine. And sure, there was fear. I mean, I think anytime you're working with a psychedelic plant medicine, I've also worked with Iboga in Costa Rica, there's a reverence and a respect, because you don't know what you're going to get. The very common saying is you get what you need, right? Not what you want, you get what you need. And so you never know what that is. I've had maybe like 17 ayahuasca ceremonies over the years, and each one is different. Beautiful, right, and fun, and some of them you cry the whole time. So you never really know what you're going to get. But the way I look at it is, it's this beautiful, intelligent, and conscious healing ally. They call her the grandmother. And she's able to go in and diagnose and see what's going on. Physical, emotional, spiritual traumas that are yours, that you've absorbed from others. Ayahuasca showed me how I picked up a ball to be real vulnerable back in my clubbing days, in my early 20s in San Francisco. I had no energy hygiene or any of that, and I had let all kinds of energies in that I did not know about. So very energy hygiene conscious. I try to teach people about this. And ayahuasca will even also pull out ancestral stuff, even collective stuff. I swear I have cried for the collective in multiple ceremonies where I'm like, ooh, this is ancient. I have goosebumps right now. This is ancient, this is old, and this is not mine. This is like everybody's. Because you can clear things in ceremonies that aren't necessarily yours. But because we're all one on some fundamental level, you can then be sort of called as a soul to process some of it for the club. And I say ayahuasca also sort of blasts you up instead of it blasts you into higher realms as well. So it like purges you out, but also expands consciousness beyond the normal, regular sort of 3D reality.
What do you think of the mirror? When you seen the mirror, what did it exactly reveal to you?
Oh, well, that I am God.
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
that's kind of what I thought. Yeah,
that's what I immediately thought. I'm like, oh, well played. And I've actually had a handful of others. I'd actually like to share a couple of them because they're just so profound. That I am the creator, and so are you, and so is everyone else. And one of the trips to Peru, I was back in my hotel room after working with San Pedro, called Huachuma. It's a mescaline cactus. And I was just giggling because I had this awareness that I'm the creator. So is everybody else, that we're not, and we're separate and we're different. And that was hilarious to me. And then a couple weeks later, I'm back in San Francisco. I'm at a party. It's a large party, probably a couple thousand people. And I'm playing a game. Like, oh, look how cute I look tonight. And oh, look how much fun I'm having dancing, and I'm great time. And then I see a woman that I know, and I tell her I'm playing this game. And after I finish telling her that, I just turn, see that there's a chair. I see another friend, and his shirt says, I am you.
Oh my goodness. That's not a coincidence.
No, I've never seen someone wear a shirt like that. And certainly not after I'm just tell another friend I'm playing that game that everyone is me. And I've had some other experiences like that. So that it's like, so rather than just reading about it in spiritual texts or what, I got to have that actual experience. The Matrix, this video game we're in, coordinated it so that I could have that meaningful synchronicity that there's no, it just happened by random.
Do you think that the ayahuasca journey that you went on was somewhat like a death to yourself?
Well, I just kind of felt that in my body when you said that. Sure, it was a death of the old version of me, really. And I remember Carlos, the shaman, the curandero, the ayahuasquero, he said to me, congratulations, you are reborn. And I did not know what he meant because he said that to me the morning after. I hadn't yet experienced enough of life. But I very much measure my life pre and post ayahuasca. I really do. And it's not necessarily the for everybody. And I'm not saying go do this, but it called me, right? When these things call you, it's generally pretty profound and life-changing.
I've heard so many things about ayahuasca.
Well, I would highly recommend the Temple of the Way of Light in Peru for anyone who's looking for a place. It's high integrity. It's a nonprofit. They pay their shamans doctor salaries, Peruvian doctor salaries, and take really good care of them. I would highly recommend this place. It is in the jungle. It is pretty fancy.
So what do you think that it reveal about the connection to source in your experience?
Definitely that we're all one, as we've covered. I'm connected at any given moment, because when I came back, at any little criticity or message or something, that I'm never actually truly alone, that I am watched over and interacted with constantly, is a very comforting feeling, because we have this illusion of separateness and aloneness, and the Matrix is very much programmed to bring up fear. So it brings a lot of comfort to me. And still to this day, when I really tap into it, when I tap into the unconditional love, I do feel like I have spirit guides, my higher self. When I tap into that, I cry. I cry instantly, because it's just so beautiful, so meaningful, and rare to find with other humans, because there's just much trauma and closed down hearts and ego and all of that. So to just experience that pure unconditional love, like, in fact, before I went to Peru, I did have one communication with the universe, and I remember it's because following Ananda, I was sober. I was sober and celibate. I like a little cannabis from time to time for meditation or whatnot. But then on my birthday, I had some cannabis, and so in my meditation, I apologized to the universe, like, I'm so sorry I did that. And you would see this blue sphere when you follow the Yogananda technique, and the blue sphere just got really big, and then got small. And I interpreted it as like, it's okay, good, we love you.
I'm not sure if you would get them doing an ayahuasca ceremony, but do you have any special gifts you brought back with you after the ceremony that just appeared for you?
Sure. Well, I started to have vision. See a lot of things in my visual field, like sparkles of light or blue light, green light, purple light. I never saw those things before. Those tend to show up. I view them as confirmations. I started to get more visuals in my meditations. I really didn't have those before. My sense of knowingness, like I realize now I have intuition, but now I just really trust it and get it. Like sometimes I just know things and I don't know why I should know them. Like I'm really being temperature, time, distance, things with numbers. I'm like really altitude. I'm really good at estimating those, because I just let my intuition like very, very close. And I'm just going to say telepathic ability. For like 6 months after I came back from Peru, I was really set on communicating with my guides, and then it started to happen. And then I started to be able to communicate with my dogs. And to this day, I still take it always with a grain of salt, because when you have telepathic ability, you sort of connect with the cosmos or the universe. Sometimes other beings like to come in and kind of pose as your guide or this and that. And so I make it feels good, it feels right. There's no sense of urgency, no fear. And then I like to have some sort of physical, a confirmation, maybe another synchronicity. Like maybe I get a message and then that message shows up like in a TV show, see it on a billboard or something like that. So yeah, I would say that the ayahuasca helped me to develop those spiritual gifts, or helped me to uncover them, or took the blocks away. Like maybe it was those black corkscrew squigglies that's kind of keeping me cut off.
I find that just fascinating. I really do. I believe that any type of inner work can really take you quite far in this life. I think that when we don't do the inner work or anything, just you don't have to go for even an ayahuasca visit, but just doing healing and inner work can really awaken things inside. You are very, very brave, I must say. I feel that inside myself you are very, very brave. You also bravely uncovered repressed memories from childhood. Gave you the strength to face?
Well, they just came up. I didn't know they were there. They started to come up. And then the strength for me was easy, because I don't know who I have been through. I absolutely believe that I'm an old soul that chose this family line to help heal it. Like I said, my sister passed away. She was too traumatized. She was kind of like a child in a woman's body. She kind of never really grew up. And my other brother, who took his own life, like he was like as a soul, or he didn't have that strength to face it or to overcome it. And so it was just getting perpetuated in the family line. And I just felt that calling to do my it's not about courage to me at all, because I feel like I've already gone through it as a little kid. So now that I'm an adult, I absolutely can face what, and a lot of it I see in dreams. A lot of it is in dreams, or a lot of times I talk to my inner children and they tell me things that happen, and then I shiver, I yawn, energy move, like I get these strong confirmations, and then maybe there is some sort of outside synchronicity. Maybe the TV show I watched that night, the kid goes through the same exact thing or something like that. So I only have a few sort of vivid kind of me flashbacks. The vast majority of it is when I talk to my inner children, when they tell me what's happened, or a lot of it shows up in dream time. Do a lot of processing in dream time.
How do you talk to your inner child?
Yeah, that is a really great question. So let's just say it comes up, for example. So I'm feeling really sad. I might just say, hey, I want to talk to the young part of me who's feeling really sad right now. Talk. Could be as simple as that. Or if a dream comes up. Recently there was a dream when I felt a lot of shame in the dream. I assume that I've had a fair amount of shame because some of the abuse was sexual in nature, and that's just common, because a lot of times it's the adult shame that gets absorbed by the child, and it's just confusing in general. But I haven't had a lot of access to feeling shame in life, to be honest. Maybe more I've struggled with maybe some self-worth, things like that, but shame not so much. That's been like very deeply suppressed down in there. But in a dream recently, I felt it. And often in my dreams, I don't feel emotions. And so then when I woke up, I'm like, hey, I really want to talk to the part of me who's feeling this. And I'm doing this long enough for all these years that generally, they come up pretty quickly. For me, because of the type of abuse I went through, I have my inner child, inner children, different ages, but also disassociated parts. I don't necessarily know exist until I go looking for them. And then they tell me about things that happened.
What is the relationships in your life like now after this spiritual awakening? Do you look at them? I know you guard your energy. So do you find that you get pulled now to certain people and then you get that person's bad? Do you feel trustworthy in your ability to be around now?
I definitely do. And I'm extremely discerning. I'm an introvert by nature, so I don't need a lot of social stimulation. So when I do with someone on the phone or spend time with someone, it's because I really love them. It's because I really trust them. And so there's only a handful of them, but there are enough. And I do feel like there's like, it's not just this lifetime, that I really know them. And it's not that I feel like, oh, that's a bad person, I don't want to be around that person. It's more like I just don't resonate. Like I'd actually rather be home alone, hanging out by myself. Home alone is great. I love it. Like, for me to give that peace up and that tranquility to go spend with someone, I love them, really trust them.
My goodness, I'm with you on that. I absolutely am a loner as well. I quite like it.
Yeah, but we can't have that, right? It's not balanced. So
that's right.
Yeah, I do trust ability now to know who to trust and how deeply to integrate them into my life. And if anything, I'm still working on maybe crafting deeper relationships. When I am with people, I am able to be pretty vulnerable and share things, but then I can go weeks or months without talking to them, because that's just that was my trauma response. And I was a latchkey kid, and I was the youngest. The others were way older than me. I'd just been alone a lot of my life. That's kind of the safe, easy way. So I'm working on my capacity to be more integrated and to have family, because I've felt that loss of family for a long time. My mom, my sister, my brother, my 2 beloved dogs died. Like, it's like it's been like a real hole, real hole. So I'm building friendships that feel like family.
Rachel, do you think that your path was planned when you were born? Do you ever think about that?
A million times over. Absolutely. Yeah. I've had moments of looking at that prepared me for this, and this got me ready for that. It made it so I had the wisdom for this. 100%. We live in a choreographed video game simulation. 100%. All of it for our highest, ultimately for the creator to experience itself through the uniqueness of us. I really do. I really think that that's what life is. And so plan, but because of free will, we don't necessarily know exactly how we're gonna respond or react. So there's probably sort of backup plans, or there's multiple versions, multiple timelines. But yeah, I do feel like it's a choreographed interactions that we're in.
Like for myself, it's the pain that you go through just like catapults you into something else. And you're just like, what? Like, why? Like, I had to feel that to get here, and I had to do this to do that. It's interesting how my life, I'm sure you've done the same. It gets me thinking. Definitely keeps me thinking, guessing, and everything. It's like one door closes, another one opens. And it seems like it's choreographed to do so. That's what it seems like, right?
Oh, 100%. I truly like a virtual reality school experience, and there's a reason for everything. I don't think anything is haphazard. Now, there is a collective co-creation, so there's, I think, a little bit of leeway on how the others around respond, but that the overall arching framework is very much intentional. And really, I mean, even when you scroll on social media, the algorithm that comes up, it's not just the social media. I believe spirit is influencing that, and amazing things that I had to learn, like castor oil packs and vibration plates and ashwagandha and shilajit. Like, these things have made a huge difference in my healing and my health. Even the way, like, maybe so that then 4 blocks later when you park at the place you're going to, you're next to someone you're supposed to run into, 100% long. And we don't, but I do believe that our energy affects the world. And so even a casual encounter of like, hey, I haven't seen you. You're exchanging energy, healing each other. And I feel goosebumps sharing this. So
I
there's a
got them
lot
too.
that we do. You feel it too?
Yeah.
There's a lot that we do that we don't consciously understand, but we're just doo-doo-doo, playing the role we're the avatar, we're the actress in the movie, doo-doo-doo.
Right?
Yeah.
What you advise if someone came to you and felt like they were being called to an ayahuasca ceremony? What would be your advice to them?
Find a place that feels really, really good, really, really safe. That would be my number one advice, because I'm going to say a lot of Westerners go to Peru for like a month or two and then come back as self-proclaimed shamans, but they don't know how to protect the space. Like, you are opening up into the spirit world when you drink this medicine. You're open. Space absolutely needs to be protected. When they go around with their tobacco and their agua de Florida, their flower water, and they do these prayers, and they make sure the place is really, really protected, because you don't want trickster, entity, other energies coming in because you're open, and then you can get herbed. Also, some of their proclaimed shamans or even generational shamans in other countries, like, their heart might be kind of closed down. They may have some ego. There's definitely, when people are in altered states. So it's really, really important to feel really, really good about who you work with.
And safe.
100%.
Right?
That's my top. And follow the diet. Not only could it be dangerous, but you'll be really sick. Good time. And ayahuasca will have to spend a bunch of time purging out the cheese and the sugar and all this, and won't have time then to like the real deal. So follow the diet and make sure you go to a place that feels good in your heart.
I'm just going to circle back for a second, but in your ayahuasca ceremony, did you see any loved ones or anybody else, any beings?
I did not see any beings in the visuals, but I absolutely felt that I connected with Prime Creator, the one source, the one that we all come from. 100% believe that I talked with this being. This was the 7th ceremony of 7 in the jungle, and this was like the grand finale. This was the wildest ceremony out of all of them. Even one of the curanderas, the ayahuasqueras, the shamans, she got so high from the ayahuasca, she walked out, took her shirt off, and she was singing to the trees, and like, bring her back in. The energy was so intense. So for me, it was like a grand finale. And I really felt like this consciousness was saying, I don't know why I exist. What am I supposed to do with all this power? Who created me? And I feel all these goosebumps telling you this. And what am I supposed to do with it? So this is why I started creating. This is why I started creating experiences where there's apparent multiplicity, like Earth. So I experience myself through each other, but with the veil of forgetfulness. Because if you just know that everyone, it's not as meaningful. But it was this like real, like, vulnerable, why do I exist? Who created me? Why am I here? What am I supposed to do with it? And why is it only me? Why is it only me? So that was with ayahuasca. It was powerful and profound. And then I wanted to share with Iboga. This medicine had called me to work on the repressed childhood abuse, and is powerful for that. It's powerful for going into the subconscious. And I saw my sister. My sister had passed away a few months before, and I saw a white outline of her. The visions for me with Iboga were not very vivid, but I just saw a white outline of her face, just like, hi, Rachel. That was it. Hi, Rachel. I think just letting me know, like, hey, I'm here. I'm good. I love you. I'm proud of you. It was something kind of like that.
That's so beautiful. Can we touch on what inspired you to create Rachel Hope's healing practice?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Well, it was when I got back from Peru, my first trip, and I I just started meeting all these people in the healing world, and I just started getting these downloads that I was supposed to work in the healing field. And it just felt right, but I didn't know what that meant. And so participating in a lot of healing-oriented events, started help hosting them, producing them, and then really trauma coming back on where I had to seek my own healing. I'm like, okay, like this is it. I'm gonna figure out how to heal this in myself, and this is what I'm gonna bring to other people. So it was the path, and at the same time, the real estate was starting to break down. Real estate is always like this. So the interest rates got higher, and because I worked in home loans, and so it was just kind of crumbling for me. So that happens a lot in life, right? Is that when you're supposed to go to a new chapter, the old one sort of crumbles. And as I was learning about the matrix control systems, I want to work with the banks anymore. I didn't want to be a part of this lending institution. It's a whole rabbit hole, but I just knew in my heart I didn't want to be a part of that. It felt wrong. And that this was following the path. It wasn't necessarily that I consciously chose it. It's just that, oh, this is the path that's laid out. This is what feels right that I'm supposed to do. And it was and still is really important to me to do what I feel like my soul is guiding me to do. Whether I like it or not, I trust that. I trust the plan. So that's how Rachel Hope Healing was created.
You blend science, spiritual insight, and practice tools in work. Why is the holistic?
Sure. Because we are energetic beings in our nature, so we want to work with our energy, but also very physical as well. This is a physical reality, and I've had a passion for holistic healing ever since my early 20s. Ironically, a bartender boyfriend turned me on to organic food and supplements, and I started healing some things in myself in my early 20s, and I'm like, well, this is great. I feel so much better. So it's been a passion of mine to live naturally, and I do really think, the body and mind are very, very connected. So if you're struggling in one area, the mind, and it honors our human experience. We are spiritual beings having the physical experience. So you can't, to me, it's like bypassing if you, like, oh, whatever, I'm not going to exercise. Like, I don't need water. Like, whatever, I'm just going to meditate. I feel like you're sort of missing half the plan. So, and I don't know about it. And I have a passion about helping people avoid doctors. Avoid toxic prescription drugs. I think the cause of death. It's malpractice.
Wow, really?
A heart disease, cancer, and then malpractice is the third leading cause. So be your own health consultant. That's what I promote. And I'm not on any prescriptions, and I'll never take any, because if anything goes weird in me, I do a bunch of research and figure out what it is. Like a year ago, I gained 10 pounds, couldn't figure out what it was. Finally figured out it was blood sugar stuff from being in perimenopause, even though I hadn't anything else. So now I do practices to help my blood sugar. I easily lost 10 pounds and I feel great.
I found you on TikTok, and then I kind of stalked you, but not really. But you were very interesting. I really like the one where you talked body. Like when you have pain or something's going on in the body, and you speak to that sick part of your body. Could you kind of show us and tell us how we can do that for ourselves?
Yeah, that you brought this up, because the body has consciousness and the body loves being acknowledged. So this is it's because
that's weird that you just said that, because I have severe shoulder.
Do you?
Not even kidding.
Is it the right one or the left one?
I was trying to copy you. I was watching your TikTok doing this.
Okay. So this pain in the shoulder is because, not calling you out, but I'm going to say you did too much. It's some ancestral trauma. It could be hormones. Sometimes hormones, as we get to menopause, we can have some frozen shoulder. It's stuff going on though that the body didn't get to choose, right? Okay. But the body is going through it with you. So having passion of like, I'm sorry this hurts. I'm sorry I pushed you too hard. I'm sorry you have to hold this, but you know what? It's safe now. You can let that go. You can let that stress go. You're right. And kind of massage it and I talk to my body like a little child. You're okay. I'm taking care of you. I'm sorry I pushed you. I'm sorry you've had to hold on to that. Because a lot of times it's just stuff that the body is holding on to. And I'll notice, like, I look for knots, and then I'll just feel them just dissolve much faster when you give love and compassion to that knot. Because that knot it's a strain, it's a trapped emotion, something like that. So it's letting your body know, let's clear that out. Let's detox it. Let's let that go. I love
We all know what I'm doing tonight. Right? Oh, I thought
Yeah.
it was great. You're just wonderful. Honestly, I watch a lot of your videos and I was just taken. I'm like, I gotta talk to that woman. She is cool. Like, I really love your approach. And you're so, for me, I really feel it's just really cool.
Thank
So in
you.
reflection of you, and if you were to go be awakening to that person, what would you say to her now?
That's such a rich question. Well, I would say that I do that a lot because anytime you talk to your inner child, it's like you're traveling back in time. Let's go to like 25-year-old me who just lost more than $100,000, who's feeling very lost, very confused. I would go to her and I would let her know, honey, it wasn't your fault. You weren't prepared for that. You're going to learn why, and it's going to be hard at times and it's going to be beautiful at times, but it's going to be so worth it. And I'll be here always watching over you, I would say.
That's really beautiful. Is that what you teach in your practice as well?
For sure. Yeah,
Mhm.
I see that we're all integrated. Like we can have our 25-year-old, we can have our 14, our 2-year-old, but we all share this body together. So
Mhm.
they're never really truly alone. And especially once we're aware of them as our adult self and comfort them.
Mhm.
It's a little bit about what happened, but it's 90% about the past that's resolved. So it's like, oh, this is my 8-year-old self. This feels exactly like when dad, blah, blah, right? So then I talk to myself like, oh, honey, I know this is hard. I know this is really scary, but I'm going to figure it out. I'm here with you. You can relax. You're okay.
People were taught that earlier on in life. How much of humanity to treat themselves with love and kindness like that?
Well, it would transform humanity
I think
because
it would.
people generally grow up with parents that don't know how to love themselves fully. They do their best to give, but it's usually about some sort of validation or good job. It's not always just about who you are, just for existing. You're lovable, you're important, you matter, you're a divine spark of the consciousness. And so that suffering is what gets projected out onto the world, and then the meaning we make on it, and then we, get so upset with other people when it's really our own wounds being reflected back. I look forward to the day that this is the reality. I really believe that the world is changing, that the Earth is than we've ever seen earlier in our time. Ancient mythologies talk about that there's going to be solar codes from the sun that's going to transform the consciousness, and that's why the Earth is vibrating faster, because of all these solar storms. It's exciting the Earth, making it vibrate faster. This is unprecedented, and we're measuring this with modern equipment. Modern science is validating what ancient mythologies have talked about. So we're headed toward the golden age, where
Oh,
life is
yes.
valued more than anything else. Right now, the most important thing. But I believe, and even potentially soon, like in our lifetime, even within years, we're going to see a shifting in consciousness and reality where life in general is the most important thing, like new forms of healing and abundance for all. And I know this sounds like, yeah, whatever, Rachel, but I feel it. I really do.
I really do. So you do feel that humanity is waking up spiritually?
Absolutely. Earth and history goes in cycles, and we're at the end of the darkest cycle, and the cycle always goes then to super light, not just like less dark, light, dark, 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 dark. It's super dark to the most light. This is what all the ancient mythologies talk about. Generally, it's a 26,000-year cycle that has to do with the precession of the equinoxes. We're at the end of it. We're at the end of that. So it's just, and some say we're actually overdue. Some are like decades overdue to shift, and that there's a whole long story about like what maybe was causing that and this and that. But basically, at heart, I feel like humanity's gone through enough. We've gone through enough. Let's have a golden age now. Like we've done a
Yeah, I
lot
would
of
like that
we've
right
done a lot
now.
of heavy lifting. We
Yes.
all want it right now. A lot of
My
us old
gosh.
souls are like, what did I do? Why
Like,
did
you
I
just
incarnate here
can't
again?
anymore. It's hard to even have a conversation with people nowadays. It's like, I don't want small talk. Not someone like myself. Others, I know they're fine with it. But someone like me, probably even you and a few of my friends, we're like, no. I want to talk about the moon, the stars, aliens, golden age, vibes and frequencies. That's the kind of stuff we want to feel and hear about, right?
And keep talking about it, because the more you talk about it, the more you're bringing it forward. Because reality is a co-created collective. So the more people spend time visiting and seeing that golden age, the more likely and the sooner it will come. I truly believe that.
Absolutely. Tell me, what do you believe the sole purpose for choosing challenges in this life is?
Well, I absolutely have to take the belief that it is for growth and evolution, because that's the most empowering. Their challenge, I think there's sort of three different reasons. The soul itself wants that less. It wants to contribute that healing to the collective, because as any one of us heals a particular kind of wound, let's just say like physical abuse from parents, we now contribute that to make it easier for other people who have that kind of trauma to heal. And I also think we'll incarnate into civic family lines to help heal that family line. So some of these challenges, I think, are because your soul, one of them I think are kind of altruistic and like, all right, I can handle it. I come in and take that on to help the collective with that. I do think it's a combo of those. And even if, like, I do think that's part when I took on this super dark family, but I think that my soul also knew the growth and evolution it would have going out. It wasn't just purely altruistic. It was like, this is going to be powerful for me. Like, to go through all that and like to not give up and to keep showing up and to speak up, as a kid, like, I stayed real small. I didn't want any attention to myself. So to be on TikTok, be on podcasts, even just working with clients, that was a huge growth for me.
What message or takeaway would you love your listeners to take from this conversation today?
I would like people to know that they are perfect as they are. That they are supposed to be who they are, the most you can be. That the Creator wanted to experience itself through the uniqueness of you, particularly the fully expressed, authentic, empowered you. So any healing work that you do on yourself to free yourself from limiting patterns or programs from society or religion is a real gift to yourself, the collective, and the Creator, because you're being more you.
That is absolutely lovely, Rachel. Now let's talk about a book that you have.
Yes, it's called Embracing Your Inner Child and Shadow Self. It's the path to truly loving yourself. And it's a workbook style, and it has a couple healing meditations in it. And it helps you to connect with yourself, to the various inner children who maybe don't feel so good about themselves. Shadow parts are generally parts that we think about ourselves or that go into hiding or that we self. So this book is really powerful to help you love and accept all parts of yourself and how to create a relationship with yourself. So even though I help people in sessions to meet their inner child, this book helps you to do that yourself. And so you can get that on my website, rachelhopehealing.com, in the shop tab, it's download. And I'm always available via email. If you have any about it, anything comes up, feel free out, Rachel@rachelhopehealing.com.
And we will have all the links down in the description below. Rachel, I want to thank you so much for being here with us today. Your story is a beautiful reminder that we are so much more than our titles or our fears. This journey is all returning to our truest version of ourselves. And I feel that's how we find our way home. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you, MJ. This has been a pleasure, really.
You're welcome. Take care of yourself.
You too.